Today's lesson is going to be called The Punishment of Jacob for Breaking the Law. The punishment of Jacob for breaking the law. So I'm about to share my screen here. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, brother. Yeah, it's coming up.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to start this in the book of Matthew.
What is it breaking? What?
Matthew chapter 23. Let me turn it a way to see it properly. So you're seeing it in the full screen now?
Yeah, it's a little small. Um,
Oh, you don't see it full screen?
yes. Well, on my side, I'm not sure if anybody else seen it the same.
Yes, it's small.
Um, Go back the straight way, brother, and let's see. Go the other
Uh,
way. Yeah,
this here.
that's better. That's better.
Are there now?
Yeah, that's better. On my side, that's good.
Okay.
It's better than before.
Actually, let me
Yes.
change it. Okay. So I'll do it from here. So this is Matthew chapter 21. I'm reading from verse 33. And it says, Here another parable. There was a certain householder which planted a vineyard, and hedged it round about, and digged a winepress in it, and built a tower, and let it out to husbandmen, and went into a far country. Verse 34. And when the time of the fruit drew near, he sent his servant to the husbandmen, that they might receive the fruits of it. And the husbandman took his servants and beat one, and killed another, and stoned another. Again, he sent other servants more than the first, and they did unto them likewise. Verse 37. But last of all, he sent unto them his son, saying, They will reverence my son. Verse 38. But when the husbandmen saw the son, they said among themselves, This is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and let us seize on his inheritance. Verse 39. And they caught him, and cast him out of the vineyard, and slew him. When the Lord, or when Yahweh, therefore, of the vineyard cometh, what will he do unto those husbandmen? Verse 41. They say unto him, He will miserably destroy those wicked men, and will let out his vineyard unto other husbandmen, which shall render him the fruits in their season. Verse 42. Jesus said unto them, Did ye never read in the scriptures, the stone which the builders rejected, the same is become the head of the corner? This is Yahweh's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. Verse 43. Therefore say I unto you, the kingdom of Yahweh shall be taken from you, and given to a nation bringing forth the fruits thereof. Verse 44. And whomsoever shall fall on this stone shall be broken, but on whomsoever it shall fall, it shall grind him to powder. Verse 45. And when the chief priests and Pharisees had heard his parable, they perceived that he spake of them. But when they sought to lay hands on him, they feared the multitude, because they took him for a prophet. So we see Christ here giving this parable about the husband and the vineyard and the husbandmen. This vineyard was given out to the husbandmen, and when he sent to gather his fruit, they killed all the servants, including the son. So we're going to pick this up in Isaiah chapter 1, because these parables that Christ spoke, we know they have a lot of meaning and strong meaning as well. So we're going to go Isaiah chapter 5, and I'm going to start at verse 1. And it reads, Now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching her vineyard. My well-beloved hath a vineyard in a very fruitful hill, and he fenced it, and gathered out the stones thereof, and planted it with the choicest vine, and built a tower in the midst of it, and also made a winepress therein. And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes. Verse 3. And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem, and men of Judah, judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard. Verse 4. What could have been done more for my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes. Verse 5. And now go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedges thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the walls thereof, and it shall be trodden down. Verse 6. And I will lay it waste, it shall not be pruned, nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns. I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it. Verse 7. For the vineyard of Yahweh of hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah is the pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold, oppression, for righteousness, but behold, a cry. So we could see here that this vineyard is the house of Israel. So this is referring to the house of Israel. And we're going to pick this up in Jeremiah chapter 12 from verse 7. Jeremiah chapter 12, verse 7. And it reads, I have forsaken mine house, I have left mine heritage, I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hands of her enemies. So we know the dearly beloved of his soul, he's speaking here of Israel. So he's telling you he have given Israel over into the hands of their enemies. Verse 8. Mine heritage is unto me as a lion in the forest that crieth out against me. Therefore I have hated it. Verse 9. My heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour. So here he's saying his heritage, his people is like a speckled bird, and the birds all around don't want it. And we could see that today. So no one wants Israel today. So verse 10, he says, many pastors have destroyed my vineyard. They have trodden my portion on the foot. They have made my pleasant portion a desolate wilderness. So he's telling you in verse 10, many pastors has destroyed his vineyard. So we know Israel was destroyed. Israel is the one identified as his vineyard. It says many pastors have destroyed his vineyard and trodden underfoot. But we'll get a bit further into that. Verse 11, they have made it desolate, and being desolate, it mourneth unto me. The whole land is made desolate, because no man layeth it to heart. Verse 12, the spoilers are come upon all high places through the wilderness. For the sword of Yahweh shall devour from the one end of the land even to the other end of the land. No flesh shall have peace. So we see here the Mosai again is identifying that he's removing Israel from the land. So we're going to pick this up in the Songs of Solomon, chapter 1, and I'm going to read from verse 1 to 6. And it reads, the Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for thy love is better than wine. Because of thy savor of the good ointment, thy name is as ointment poured forth. Therefore do the virgins love thee. So let me pause there, because many will tell you not to go into the Songs of Solomon, especially if you're single, because it is a love story about Solomon and his many affairs, his many loves and many wives. But this is not so. The Songs of Solomon, as I will show you going forward here, has nothing to do with Solomon and no woman. This is all about Israel. So from verse 30 from verse 3, and it reads, because of the savor of thy good ointment, thy name is as ointment poured forth. Therefore do the virgins love thee. Verse 4, draw me, we will run after thee. The king have brought me into his chamber. We will be glad and rejoice in thee. We will remember thy love more than wine. The upright love thee. Verse 5, I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtain of Solomon. Verse 6, look not upon me, because I am black, because the sun have looked upon me. My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but mine own vineyard have I not kept. So this, we are going to do some investigation here, because in verse 6 it says, look not upon me, because I am black, because the sun have looked upon me. My mother's children were angry with me. So we are going to investigate this. And they made me keeper of the vineyards, but my own vineyard have I not kept. So we have seen that the vineyard being spoken about was Israel. So let's go into Psalm chapter 69, and we're going to do some reading here. So this is Psalm 69, starting at verse 1, and it says, save me. 1 second. Right. Save me, for the waters are come in unto my soul. Verse 2. I sink in deep mire, where there is no standing. I am come into deep waters, where the floods overflow me. Verse 3. I am weary of my crying. My throat is dried. My eyes fail while I wait for Yahweh. Verse 4. They that hate me without a cause are more than the hairs of mine head. They that would destroy me, being mine enemies wrongfully, are mighty. Then I restored that which I took not away. O Yahweh, thou knowest my foolishness, and my sins are not hid from thee. Verse 6. Let not them that wait on thee, O Yahweh of hosts, be ashamed for my sake. Let not those that seek thee be confronted for my sake, O Yahweh of Israel. Verse 7. Because for thy sake I have borne reproach. Shame have covered my face. I am become a stranger unto my brethren, and an alien unto my mother's children. For the zeal of thy house have eaten me up, and the reproaches of them that reproach thee are fallen on me. So we see here what we just read in Psalm. This could never be speaking of David. He says, I am a stranger, I have become a stranger unto my brethren, and an alien unto my mother's children. And in verse 9 it says, for the zeal of thine household have eaten me up, and the reproaches of them that reproach thee have fallen on me. So we know David did not bore any reproach or anyone. So let's pick this up in Romans. Let's get some understanding. So this is Romans chapter 15 from verse 1, and it reads, then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak, and not to please ourselves. Let every one of us please his neighbor for his good to edification. Verse 3, for even Christ pleased not himself, but as it is written, the reproaches of them that reproach thee have fallen on me. So we see here Paul is telling you what we just read in Psalm 69 is actually Christ. For even Christ pleased not himself, because as it is written, where is it written? In Psalm 69, the reproaches of them that reproach thee fell on me. So we see who is being spoken of there all along. It is Christ. So Psalm chapter 80 is where we're going to go now. Psalm chapter 80, and reading from verse 7. And it reads, turn us again, O Yahweh of hosts, and cause thy face to shine, and we shall be saved. Verse 8. Thou have bought a vine of Egypt. So we see here, he's identifying Israel as this vine. Verse 8. Thou hast bought a vine out of Egypt. Thou hast cast out the heathen and planted it. Thou preparest room before it, and didst cause it to take deep root, and it filled the land. Verse 10. The hills were covered with the shadow of it, and the boughs thereof were like the goodly cedar. Verse 11. She sent out her boughs unto the sea, and her branches unto the river. Why hast thou then broken down her hedges? So we read that again. Why have thou broken down her hedges, so that all they which pass by the way do pluck her? The boars out of the wood doth waste it, and the wild beast of the field doth devour it. Verse 14, he says, return, we beseech thee, O Yahweh of hosts, look down from heaven, and behold, and visit this vine. Verse 15, and the vineyard which thy right hand have planted, and the branches that thou madest strong for thyself, it is burned with fire, it is cut down. They perish at the rebuke of thy countenance. Verse 17. Let thy hand be upon the man of thy right hand, upon the Son of Man, whom thou madest strong for thyself. Verse 18. So will not we go back from thee? Quicken us, and we will call upon thy name. Turn us again, O Yahweh of hosts, cause thy face to shine, and we shall be saved. So here is the psalm telling the Mosai to turn his face back to Israel, and they shall be saved. We're going to go to Jeremiah chapter 2. and we're going to do some reading here as well. So this is Jeremiah chapter 2, starting at verse 4. And we're going to do some skipping. So verse 4. Hear ye the word of Yahweh, O house of Jacob, and all the families of the house of Israel. Thus saith Yahweh, what iniquity have your fathers found in me, that they are gone far from me, and have walked after vanity, and are become vain? Neither say they, where is Yahweh that brought us out of the land of Egypt, that led us through the wilderness, through the land of deserts and of pits, through a land of drought and of the shadow of death, through a land that no man passed through, and where no man dwelt. And I brought you into a plentiful country to eat the fruit thereof and the goodness thereof. But when ye entered, ye defiled my land and made my heritage an abomination. Verse 8. The priest said not, where is Yahweh? And they that handle the law knew me not. The pastors also transgressed against me, and the prophets prophesied by Baal, and walked after things that do not profit. So we see here again, Israel, after inherited the land, they did not follow after the Mosai. They did the ones who were to handle the law. They didn't know it. The pastors transgressed. The prophets prophesied by Baal. So we're going to skip down to verse 20. We're going to read 20 and 21, and it says, For of all times I have broken thy yoke, and burst thy bonds. And thou saidest, I will not transgress. When upon every high hill and under every green tree thou wanderest, playing the harlot. Yet I had planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? So the Moses is asking Israel, I planted you wholly. I gave you everything, but now how have you turned into this degenerate vine before him? So we're going to skip down to verse 31. So we're going to read from 31 to 37, and it says, O generation, say ye the word of Yahweh, have I been a wilderness unto Israel, a land of darkness? Wherefore say my people, we are lords, we will come no more unto thee. Can a maid forget her ornaments, or a bride her attire? Yet my people have forgotten me days without number. Verse 33. Why trimmest thou thy ways to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones their ways. So let me pause there for a second. It says, why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones their ways. So he is speaking here to Israel. He's telling them they have taught the wicked ones their ways. So we're going to go to 34. Also in thy skirts is found the blood of the souls of the poor innocent. I have not found it by secret search, but upon all these. Yet thou sayest, because I am innocent, surely his anger shall turn from me. Behold, I will plead with thee, because thou sayest, I have not sinned. Why gatherest thou about so much to change thy way? Thou also shalt be ashamed of Egypt, as thou wouldest ashamed of Assyria. Verse 37. Yea, thou shalt go forth from him, and thine hands upon thine head, for Yahweh have rejected thy confidence, and thou shalt not prosper in them. So we see here that the judgments upon Israel. So we're going to go to Isaiah chapter 11. Isaiah chapter 5, and we're going to read from verse 11. And it says, Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink, that continue until night, so wine inflame them. And the harp, and the void, and the tabret, and the pipe, and the wine are in their feast, but they regard not the work of Yahweh, neither consider the operation of his hand. Therefore, my people are gone into captivity, because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. Verse 14. Therefore, hell hath enlarged herself, and opened her mouth without measure, and their glory, and their multitude, and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it. So in this case, hell here, that they shall, remember he says they're going to go into captivity because they have no knowledge. Then therefore hell hath enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure, and their glory, and their multitude, and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it. Descend into what? Descend into hell. This is a state of living, or a condition that he's speaking about here. So verse 15. And the mean man shall be brought down, and the mighty man shall be humble, and the eyes of the lofty shall be humble. But Yahweh of hosts shall be exalted in judgment, and Yahweh that is holy shall be sanctified in righteousness. Then shall the lambs feed after their manner, and the faces of the fat ones shall strangers eat. So you see, he's telling you that strangers shall eat of this waste. So I'm going to go into Isaiah 28. I'm going to read from verse 1, because he just speak about the wine and being drunk with wine. So this is Isaiah 28, and I'm going to read from verse 1 until 8. And it says, Woe to the crown of pride, to the drunkards of Ephraim, whose glorious beauty is a fading flower, which are on the head of the fat valley of them that are overcome with wine. Behold, Yahweh hath a mighty and strong one, which as a tempest of hail and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing, shall cast down to the earth with the hands. The crown of pride, the drunkards of Ephraim, shall be trodden on the feet, and the glorious beauty which is on the head of the fat valley shall be a fading flower, and as a hasty fruit before the summer, which when he that looketh upon it seeth, while it is yet in his hand, he eateth it up. Verse 5. In that day shall Yahweh of hosts be for a crown of glory, and for a diadem of beauty unto the residue of his people, and for a spirit of judgment to him that sitteth in judgment, and for strength to them that turn the battle to the gate. Verse 7. But they also have erred through wine, and through strong drink are out of the way. The priests and the prophets have erred through strong drink. They are swallowed up of wine. They are out of the way through strong drink. They err in vision, they stumble in judgment. For all tables are full of vomit and filthiness, so that there is no place clean. So here we see this is identifying that the children are swallowed up with strong drink. They are drunk. So let's see what they are drunk with. What's this wine that they are drunk with? This is Isaiah 29, and I'm reading from verse 9 to 14. And it says, Steer yourself, steer yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. So we see here, this is not actual alcohol that they are drunken with. This is doctrine that they are drunken with. It's not talking about the alcohol or the strong drinks of alcohol. This is a spiritual drunkenness. So I'll read it again from verse 9. Steer yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. Verse 10. For Yahweh hath poured out upon you a spirit of deep sleep, and has closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seer, have he covered. Verse 11. And the vision of all is become unto you as a word of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he said, I cannot, for it is sealed. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he said, I am not learned. Verse 13. Therefore Yahweh said, For as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear towards me is taught by the precepts of men. So you see here, he's telling the precepts, which we know the law is taught by the precepts of men. So verse 14, therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid. So the Moses is telling you here that amongst his people, amongst Israel, he's going to do this marvelous work. He's going to hide wisdom and understanding from them. So let me go into Matthew. This is Matthew chapter 15, reading from verse 1. And it says, Then came to Jesus scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, Why do thy disciples transgress the traditions of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. But he answered and said unto them, Why do ye also transgress the commandments of Yahweh by your traditions? For Yahweh commanded, saying, Honor thy father and mother, and he that curseth father or mother, let him die the death. But ye say, Whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, It is a gift, by whatsoever thou mightest be, profit by me. And honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus have ye made the commandment of Yahweh of none effect by your traditions. So I'll pause here. So we see Christ, for many will tell you that the scribes and the Pharisees were keeping the law, and Christ rebuked them. But we see here, Christ is identifying they were not actually keeping the law. We know from Matthew 23 that they were the teachers of the law, they sat in Moses' seat. But we could see here, Christ is pointing out that they were not actually keeping the law. They were keeping traditions. So from verse 7, it says, "Ye hypocrites, thou did," this is Isaiah, thou did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, This people draw nigh unto me with their mouth, and honor me with their lips, but their hearts is far from me. But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men." So Christ just quoted exactly what we just read in Isaiah chapter 9 back to these Pharisees, because they were not keeping the law. They were more interested in the traditions of their fathers. So I'm going to go into Hosea, chapter 4. I'm going to start at verse 1 and 6, and then I'm going to skip down. So it says, "Hear the word of Yahweh, ye children of Israel. For Yahweh hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of Yahweh in the land." So we see here, he has a controversy with the land because there's no truth or knowledge or mercy. Verse 2. By the swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out. The blood touching blood. So we see he's identifying the law. They are breaking the law. Verse 3. Therefore shall the Lamb mourn, and every one that dwelleth therein shall languish, with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven. Yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. Verse 4. Yet let no man strive nor reprove another, for thy people are as they that strive with the priest. Therefore shalt thou fall in the day, and the prophet also shall fall with thee in the night, and I will destroy thy mother. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of Yahweh. I will also forget thy children. So we see here, this is the problem. The law, they reject and forgotten the law. Read it again, verse 6. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of Yahweh. I will also forget thy children. So we see the reason here is because they have rejected knowledge and they have forgotten the law, and which that is the knowledge. So I'm going to skip to verse 16 and read on to verse 19. And it reads, For Israel slideth back as a backsliding heifer. Now Yahweh will find them as a lamb in a strange place. Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone. Their drink is sour. They have committed whoredom continually. Her rulers with shame do love. Give ye. The wind have bound her up in her wings, and they shall be ashamed because of their sacrifices. So we see Israel has gone into captivity for the lack of knowledge and rejecting knowledge and forgetting the law. So we go to Deuteronomy chapter 32. This is Deuteronomy chapter 32. We're going to read from verse 8. And it says, When the Mosai divided the nations their inheritance. When he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bonds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For Yahweh's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. He found him in a desert land, and in the waste howling wilderness. He led him about. He instructed him. He kept him as the apple of his eye. As an eagle stirreth up her nest, fluttereth over her young, spreadeth abroad her wings, taketh them, beareth them on her wings. Verse 12. So Yahweh alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with them. He made him ride on the high places of the earth, that he might eat the increase of the field. And he made him to suck honey out of the rock, the oil out of the flint rock, butter of wine and milk of sheep, the fat of lambs, the ram of the breed of Bashan, the goats with the fat of kidneys of wheat. And thou didst drink the pure blood of the grape. But Jerusalem waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxen fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook Yahweh which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. So we see Israel basically waxed fat, and they forgot who their heavenly Father was. Verse 16, they provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. With abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrifice unto devils, not to Yahweh, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten Yahweh that formed thee. And when Yahweh saw it, he abhorred them, because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. Verse 20. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be, for they are a very forward generation, children in whom is no fear. Verse 21. And they have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. So we see the Mosai is saying here, Israel has provoked him to jealousy and has provoked him to anger. So now in return, he is going to provoke them with a people which is not a people. He's going to provoke them to jealousy with a people that is not a people. And he's going to provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. So we're going to pick this up. For Paul had mentioned this as well. So we're going to pick this in Romans chapter 11. And I'm going to read from verse 1. And it says, I say then, as Yahweh cast away his people, Yahweh forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. Yahweh have not cast away his people, which he foreknew. What the scriptures say about Elias? How he maketh intercession to Yahweh against Israel, saying, Yahweh, They have killed thy prophets and dig down thy altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life. But what saith the answer of Yahweh unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. Even so, then, at this present time, also there is a remnant according to the election of grace. And if by grace, then it is no more of works. Otherwise, grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then it is no more grace. Likewise, work is no more work. What then? Paul is asking this question. What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded, according as it is written. Yahweh have given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear unto this day. And we have read that in prophecy earlier, what Paul was quoting here. So verse 9 says, and David saith, let their table be made a snare, and a trap, and a stumbling block, and a recompense unto them, that their eyes be darkened, that they may not see, and bow down their backs always. Verse 11, I say then, have they slumber that they should fall? Yahweh forbid. But rather, through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. So this is what we just read here in Deuteronomy. He is going to provoke Israel with a people or a foolish people. So here it says, I say, have they stumbled that they shall fall? Yahweh forbid. But rather, through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. So salvation has come to the Gentiles to provoke Israel to jealousy, as we just read in Deuteronomy 32. But I'll read on. Verse 12. Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness? For I speak to you, Gentiles. So Paul is addressing the Gentiles. I speak to you, Gentiles, inasmuch as I am the apostle of the Gentiles. I magnify my office. He's magnifying his office, Israel. He's the teacher, he's the preacher, he's the one that takes the gospel to the Gentiles. So he's magnifying his office. Verse 14. If by any means I may provoke to immolation them which are my flesh, I might save some of them. For if the casting away of them be the reconciling of the world, what shall be the receiving of them be? We read that again. What shall be the receiving of them be but life from the dead? Verse 16. For if the first fruit be holy, the lump is also holy. And if the root be holy, so are the branches. So verse 17. But Paul is saying a lot here. And if some of the branches be broken off, and thou, being a wild olive tree, grafted in among them, and with them partakers of the root of the fatness of the olive tree, boast not against the branches. So he's telling the Gentiles here, these were the natural branches that were broken off, and you were grafted in. You were a wild olive tree, and now you're grafted into this tree. He's telling them, boast not against the branches, but if thou boast, thou bearest not the root, but the root thee. Verse 19. Thou wilt say then, the branches were broken off that I might be grafted in. So he's warning the Gentiles. Verse 20. Well, because of unbelief, they were broken off, as we read earlier. Israel was broken off or cast out because of unbelief. So Paul is telling them, well, because of unbelief, they were broken off, and thou standest by faith. Be not high-minded, but fear. Verse 21. For if Yahweh spare not the natural branches, take heed lest he also spare not thee. So he's telling the Gentiles, you must fear, you must be mindful, because Yahweh did not spare the natural branches of this tree. So how much are you that are grafted in? It's easier to break you off. So verse 22, behold, therefore, is the goodness and severity of Yahweh on them which fell, severity, but towards thee goodness, if thou continue in his goodness. Otherwise, thou also shall be cut off. So Paul is warning them here that they must continue, if not they too will be cut off. Verse 23. And they also, if they abide not still in unbelief, shall be grafted in, for Yahweh is able to graft them in again. For if thou wert cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and wert grafted contrary to nature into a good olive tree, how much more shall these, which are the natural branches, be grafted into their own tree? So Paul is asking them, you that are from a wild olive tree are now grafted into this good olive tree. But those who are of the natural branches, these that are originally off of this olive tree, that are cut off, how much easier is it then for them to be grafted back in? So read from verse 24. And if thou wert cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and wert grafted contrary to nature into a good olive tree, how much more shall these, which are the natural branches, be grafted into their own tree? Verse 25. For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceit, that blindness in part is happened to Israel, unto the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. So we see here again, blindness in part has happened to Israel, because we said earlier, he always have a remnant. So blindness has happened in part to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles come in. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion a deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. For this is my covenant unto them when I shall take away their sins. Now this 27 is very important, because most people are going to tell you today, oh, we are under the new covenant of Jeremiah 31:31. And I'm going to read that now. But it says here, there shall come out of Zion a deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. For this is my covenant unto them. Unto who? Unto Israel. Then I shall take away their sins. So let's go to the Jeremiah 31:31. And we're going to read from 31 to 34. For this is the covenant that you hear everyone is saying, oh, we are under the new covenant. Christ ushered in this new covenant. So Jeremiah 31, starting at verse 31, it reads, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. So we stop there. So this covenant is not even for the entire world. This new covenant that's identified here is for the house of Israel and for the house of Judah. So verse 32, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, saith Yahweh. So he's identifying again, this is Israel. Verse 33, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days. So this is important, after those days. Which days are these? So he says, after those days, saith Yahweh, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. So he's going to write the law in their inward parts. So verse 34, it says, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know Yahweh, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith Yahweh. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. So one thing here to show we are not under this covenant as yet, we are still teaching today. Israel is still even teaching Israel. There are many out there who don't even know that they are Israel or they are from the nation of Israel. Many. So we are still teaching today. This is an indication that we are not under this covenant as yet. And as Paul said earlier, as you see in verse 34, these are that days, these are the days. And he also said here in Romans about all Israel being saved. So let's look at that for a second. And this is Ezekiel chapter 20. Now start at verse 30. So Ezekiel 20, starting at verse 30. And it says, wherefore, saith unto the house of Israel, thus saith Yahweh, are ye polluted after the manner of your fathers, and commit ye whoredom after their abominations? For when ye offer your gifts, when ye make your sons to pass through the fire, ye pollute yourself with all your idols, even unto this day. And shall I be acquired of by you, O house of Israel? As I live, saith Yahweh, I will not be inquired of by you. Verse 32. Verse 32. And that which cometh into your mind shall not be at all, that ye say, we will be as the heathen, as the families of the countries, to serve wood and stone. Verse 33. As I live, saith Yahweh, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you, and I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered, with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out, and I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face. So we see here, he's telling you he's going to cause Israel, which he has scattered, he is going to regather them, and he's going to cause them to come into the wilderness, and he's going to plead with them face to face. And he goes in 36 and he says, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, saith Yahweh. So let me pause there. So we know that when he brought Israel out of Egypt, he took them into the wilderness. We also know Israel was in a number of captivities. But Israel, at those times, Judah was in captivity in one nation. The northern kingdom was taken by the Assyrians. We know this. And then eventually, Babylon from Nebuchadnezzar came and took Judah. Now, they were scattered, they were taken from the land of Israel into the land of the Chaldeans, into Babylon. So this was a singular scattering. Then the Most High caused, when the Persians took over, they had to come and rebuild the walls and the temple and so forth. So they did not go back into a wilderness at that time. So clearly, he is talking about, and he says here, he will gather you from the countries, which is plural, because we know after this, Israel was scattered in the four corners of the earth. They weren't scattered in the four corners of the earth until this particular prophecy. They were always scattered in a land here or a land there, but never was in the four corners of the earth until then. So I'll read 36 again, and it says, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, saith Yahweh. Verse 37. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. Here we go with this covenant again. And I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. So you see, he's going to bring all Israel into the wilderness from wherever land they are. He's going to bring them back to the wilderness, where again, he's going to purge Israel. So this is that saving Paul is talking about. That is for all Israel that should be saved. They shall be saved from their captivity, where he will bring them back into the wilderness, as we see here, just as he did when he brought them out of Egypt into the wilderness of Egypt. So he's going to bring back to the wilderness Israel, and there he's going to plead with them face to face, and there he will basically, for lack of a better word, kill the transgressors and those who rebel against him, just as he did before. So they will not enter into the land. So there we see Israel at one place will be saved altogether as a nation. So this is Jeremiah chapter 15. I'm going to now. I'm going to read it from verse 1 to verse 6. And it says, Then said Yahweh unto me, though Moses and Samuel stood before me, yet my mind could not be towards this people. Cast them out of my sight, and let them go forth. And it shall come to pass, if they say unto thee, Whither shall we go forth? Then thou shalt tell them, Thus saith Yahweh, such as are for death to death, and such as are for the sword to the sword, and such as are for famine to the famine, and such as are for the captivity to the captivity. And I will appoint over them 4 kinds, saith Yahweh, the sword to slay, and the dogs to tear, and the fowls of heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. And I will cause them to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth because of Manasseh, the son of Hezekiah, king of Judah, for that which he did in Jerusalem. Verse 5, For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest. Thou hast forsaken me, saith Yahweh. Thou art gone backward. Therefore, I will stretch out my hand against thee and destroy thee. I am weary with repenting. So we see the Most High here. He is the one who done this to Israel. He is the one who killed, who put into captivity Israel. There was no one but the Most High who have done this to Israel. So we're going to put this in Amos chapter 2, and we're going to read from verse 1. And it reads, Thus saith Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Moab, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he burned the bones of the king of Edom into lime. But I will send a fire upon Moab, and it shall devour the palaces of Terah. And Moab shall die with tumult, with shouting, and with the sound of trumpet. And I will cut off the judge from the midst thereof, and will slay all the princes thereof with him, saith Yahweh. So we go to verse 4, and it says, Thus saith Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Judah, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they have despised the law of Yahweh. So we see here, Judah has despised the law of Yahweh and have not kept his commandments, and their lies caused them to err, after the which their fathers have walked. But I will send a fire upon Judah, and it shall devour the palaces of Jerusalem. Verse 6, sorry. Thus saith Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Israel, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they sold the righteous for silver, and the poor for a pair of shoes. So you see, Israel sold the righteous. And many people say, when it said that we thought the wicked ones there is, it was not a mistake. If we look back into the scriptures, Joseph is the first one we see in the Bible being sold, and he was sold by his brothers, the 12 tribes of Israel. The other 11 brothers sold their brother into slavery. So it all begins with Israel. So from verse 7, that pant after the dust of the earth on the head of the poor, and turn aside the way of the meek, and a man and his father will go in unto the same maid to profane my name. So we see here, all of this is transgressing the law. Verse 8, and they lay themselves down upon clothes laid to pledge by every altar, and they drank the wine of the condemned in the house of their God. Yet destroyed I the Amorites before them, whose height was like the height of the cedar, and he was strong as the oaks. Yet I destroyed his fruit from above, and his roots from beneath. Verse 10. Also I brought you up from the land of Egypt, and led you 40 years through the wilderness, to possess the land of the Amorites. And I raised up of your sons for prophets, and of your young men for Nazarites. Is it not even thus, O ye children of Israel, saith Yahweh? But ye give the Nazarite wine to drink, and commanded the prophet, saying, Prophesy not. Behold, I am pressed upon you, as a cart is pressed that is full of sheaves. Therefore the fight shall perish, sorry, read that again. Therefore, the flight shall perish from the swift, and the strong shall not strengthen his force. Neither shall the mighty deliver himself, neither shall he stand that handleth, the bow. And he that is swift of foot shall not deliver himself, neither shall he that rideth the horse deliver himself. And he that is courageous among the mighty shall flee away naked in that day, saith Yahweh. So we see here, all of these are the Mosai is pronouncing upon Israel. So we're going to skip to Amos chapter 3 and we're going to read the first 2 verses. And he says, hear this word that Yahweh has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole families which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. So here the Mosai is saying, Israel is the only one who knew of all the families of the earth. Yet Israel disobeyed, so he's going to punish Israel. And this is Hosea chapter 9, and I'm going to read and do some skipping here. So it reads, rejoice not, O Israel, for joy as other people, for thou hast gone a whoring from thy Elohim. Thou hast loved a reward upon every corn floor. So it's telling Israel not to rejoice. So I'm going to skip down to verse 7. It reads, the days of visitation are come, and the days of recompense are come. Israel shall know it. The prophet is a fool. The spiritual man is mad for the multitude of thine iniquity and the great hatred. The watchman of Ephraim was with my Elohim, but the prophet is a snare of a fowler in all his ways, and hatred in the house of his Elohim. They have deeply corrupted themselves, as in the day of Gilgal. Therefore, he will remember their iniquity. He will visit their sins. I'm going to skip on to verse 15. I'm going to read 2 verses. And it says, all their wickedness is in Gilgal, for there I hated them. For the wickedness of their doings, I will drive them out of mine house. I will love them no more. All their princes are revolters. Ephraim is smitten. Their root is dried up. They shall bear no fruit. Yea, though they bring forth, yet will I slay them and be loved. Sorry, even, let me read that again, verse 16. Ephraim is smitten. Their root is dried up. They shall bear no fruit. Yea, though they bring forth, yet will I slay even the beloved fruit of their womb. Verse 17. My Elohim will cast them away, because they did not hearken unto him, and they shall be wanderers among the nations. So here we see Hosea prophesying that Israel is going to be wanderers in other nations. So just a couple more scriptures to go. This is Isaiah 42. And we're going to read from verse 18 to the end. And it reads, hear, ye deaf, and look, ye blind, that ye may see. Who is blind but my servant, or deaf as my messenger that I sent? Who is blind as he that is perfect, and blind as the Yahweh servant? To read, as Yahweh's servant, seeing many things, but thou observest not. Open the ears, but he heareth not. Yahweh is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable. So we see Yahweh is going to magnify the law and he's going to make it honorable. Verse 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none deliver for a spoil, and none saith restore. So we see Israel is robbed and spoiled and for snare in holes. Israel is hidden in prison, as we all know to this day, and none can deliver Israel nor restore them. Verse 23. We see, Malcolm X tried, Martin Luther tried, but none can restore Israel. So verse 23. Who among you will give ear to this? Who will hearken and hear, for the time is come? Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robber? Did not Yahweh, he against whom we have sinned? For they would not walk in his way, neither were they obedient unto his law. So we see Yahweh is who did this to Israel. Who gave Jacob to the spoil? Yahweh did. Who gave them to the robbers? Yahweh did. Because of their sin, they refused to obey his law, is why he did this. Therefore, verse 25, therefore he hath poured upon him the fury of his anger and the strength of battle, and it hath set him on fire round about. Yet he knew not, and it burned him, yet he laid it not to heart. And this is what we're seeing today. Israel is basically on fire today. They're being destroyed. Yet they don't know, neither do they consider. So all of these things we see here written in scripture, we could identify clearly today. So this is Ezekiel chapter 6, starting at verse 1, and it reads, And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face towards the mountains of Israel, and prophesy against them, and say, Ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus saith Yahweh to the mountains, and to the hills, and to the rivers, and to the valley, Behold, I, even I, will bring a sword upon you, and I will destroy your high places. Verse 4. And your altars shall be desolate, and your images shall be broken, and I will cast down your slain men before your idols, and I will lay the carcasses of the children of Israel before their idols, and I will scatter your bones round about your altars. In all your dwelling places, the city shall be laid waste, and the high places shall be desolate, that your altars may lay waste and made desolate, and your idols may be broken and cease, and your images may be cut down, and your works may be abolished. Verse 7. And the slain shall fall in the midst of you, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. Yet I will leave a remnant, that ye may have some that will escape the sword among the nations, when ye shall be scattered through the countries. And they that escape of you shall remember me among the nations, whither they shall be carried captive, because I am broken with their boorish heart, which have departed from me, and with their eyes which go a whoring after their idols. And they shall lock themselves for the evil which they have committed in all their abominations. And verse 10, and they shall know that I am Yahweh, and that I have not said in vain that I will do this evil unto them. So the Most High has done every single thing that he said he would do to show them he is the one in control, and he is the one who has done this. So this is Hosea chapter 5, starting at verse 5, and it reads, and the pride of Israel doth testify to his face. Therefore shall Israel and Ephraim fall in their iniquity. Judah also shall fall with them. So we see here, he's telling you all the tribes of Israel will fall. This is Hosea, the prophet. They shall go with their flocks and with their herds to seek Yahweh, but they shall not find him. He hath withdrawn himself from them. They have dwelt treacherously against Yahweh, for they have begotten strange children. Now shall a mouth devour them with their portion. Verse 8. Blow ye the cornet in Gilba, and the trumpet in Ramah. Cry aloud at Bethlehem. After thee, O Benjamin, Ephraim shall be desolate in the day of rebuke. Among the tribes of Israel have I made known that which shall surely be. Verse 10. The princes of Judah were like them that remove the bone. Therefore, I will pour out my wrath upon them like water. Ephraim is oppressed and broken in judgment, because he willingly walked after the commandments. Therefore will I be unto Ephraim as a moth, and to the house of Judah as rottenness. When Ephraim saw his sickness, and Judah saw his wounds, then went Ephraim to the Assyrians, and sent the king Jareb, yet could he not heal you, nor cure you of your wounds. Verse 14, for I will be unto Ephraim as a lion, and as a young lion to the house of Judah. I, even I, will tear and go away. I will take away, and none shall rescue him. I will go and return to my place, till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early. So we see here the Most High says he is going to turn from them, he is going to go his way until Israel seek his face, and in their affliction, Israel shall seek him early. We're going to go to Isaiah chapter 40. I'm going to read verse 1 to 5, and then 9 and 10. So it reads, comfort ye, my people, saith Yahweh. Speak ye comfortable to Jerusalem, and cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned, for she have received of Yahweh's hand double for all her sins. So we see, Moses here is identifying Judah has received double for her sins. Verse 3, the voice of him, read that again, the voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of Yahweh, make straight in the desert a highway of our Elohim. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low, and the crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. And the glory of Yahweh shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. For the mouth of Yahweh have spoken it. So here he's speaking about the redemption. So when I read verse 9 and 10, it says, O Zion, that bringeth good tidings, get thee up into the high mountain, O Jerusalem, that bringeth good tidings. Lift up thy voice with strength. Lift it up. Be not afraid. Say unto the city of Judah, behold, your Elohim. Behold, Yahweh will come with strong hand, and his arm shall rule for him. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. So we know when he comes, his reward is with him, as it says here. So we're going to pick this up quickly in the book of Revelation, chapter 22. We're going to read verse 10 and 12. And it says, And he saith unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. So this is John, when the angel was giving these words to John. So he says, seal not the prophecy of this book, because John had to prophesy. Verse 11, he that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. Verse 12. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. So we see, again, it says, he comes quickly, and his reward is with him. And I got 3 more after this. So we're going to go to Zechariah chapter 1, and we're going to read from 12 to 17. So Zechariah chapter 1. Then the angel of Yahweh answered and said, O Yahweh of hosts, how long wilt thou not have mercy on Jerusalem and on the city of Judah, against which thou hast had indignation these 70 years? And Yahweh answered the angel that talked with me with good words and comfortable words. So the angel that communed with me said unto me, Cry thou, saying, Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, I am jealous for Jerusalem and for Zion with a great jealousy. I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they have forward the affliction. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, I am returned to Jerusalem with mercies. My house shall be built in it, saith Yahweh of hosts, and a line shall be stretched forth upon Jerusalem. Cry yet, saying, Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, my cities through prosperity shall yet be spread abroad, and Yahweh shall yet confront Zion, and shall yet choose Jerusalem. So we see here Yahweh is coming, and he's going to choose Jerusalem, and he's also going to do some recompensing. And this is Zechariah chapter 2, and it reads, I lifted up my eyes again and looked, and behold, a man with a measuring line in his hand. And then said I, Whither goest thou? And he said unto me, To measure Jerusalem, to see what is the breadth thereof, and what is the length hereof? And behold, the angel that talked with me went forth, and another angel went out to meet him, and said unto him, Run, speak to this young man, saying, Jerusalem shall be inhabited as towns without walls, for the multitude of men and cattle therein. Verse 5. For I, saith Yahweh, will be unto her a wall of fire round about, and will be the glory in the midst of her. Oh, come forth and flee from the land of the north, saith Yahweh, for I have spread you abroad as the four winds of the heaven, saith Yahweh. Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwelleth with the daughters of Babylon. For thus saith Yahweh of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which calls you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. For behold, I will shake my hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servant. And ye shall know that Yahweh of hosts hath sent me. Sing and rejoice, O daughter of Zion, for lo, I come, and I will dwell in the midst of thee, saith Yahweh. And many nations shall be joined to Yahweh in that day, and shall be my people, and I will dwell in the midst of thee, and thou shalt know that Yahweh of hosts hath sent me unto thee. And Yahweh shall inherit Judah, his portion in the Holy Land, and shall choose Jerusalem again. Be silent, O all flesh, before Yahweh, for he is raised up out of his holy habitation. And I'm going to read one more, and this is Revelation chapter 18. I'm going to read verse 1 to 4. And it says, And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was latent with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the whole of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean, hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of her wrath, of her fornications, and the kings of the earth have committed fornications with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. So, brothers and sisters, we see throughout this lesson that was presented, Israel is being punished by the Most High himself. Israel has broken the law, and this is why Israel is being punished today. And we see also within this lesson that Israel will be restored, and Israel will be regathered, and the Most High is coming to deal with these nations that dealt probably with the apple of his eye, and to these nations who abused his chosen people the way they did. So all praise to the Most High. Any questions?